Hello and can the English champions with their French manager and World Cup winning superstars overcome the intimidating, almost English atmosphere at the Stade Félix Bollard? The whole match coming right up. The team news for you. Well, Lens have great pace up front with Tony Varel. He's just won his first international cap. Smicha from the Czech Republic and Pascal Nouma just arrived from Strasbourg. Arsenal are at full strength, skippered by Adams, led by Bergkamp and Emmanuel Petit. He is fit after a late scare. Your commentators are Ian St John and, first of all, Peter Drury.
It's a couple of days short of 12 weeks since English voices were last raised in the Stade Félix Bollard. David Seaman, Tony Adams and no doubt several of Arsenal's 4,000 travelling fans return tonight to the scene of England 2, Colombia 0 in search of a similarly gratifying result. It's the start of Arsenal's 14th European campaign, their third in the senior competition, but it is their first in the Champions League format. First on the ball there for Lens was the star of their show, Verel. This is Smicha, the Czech, playing it through for Nouma. And Martin Keown does what Martin Keown does best.
That was a timely intervention by Keown. Read the play well there and tidied up, but you know, the French are starting pretty brightly here, Peter.
This is Debev. Dalma with the bandage round his right arm. He has a triple fracture of the thumb and he's bursting into the penalty area. Now Dalma! Keown's intervention together with Dixon was absolutely critical, and Arsenal are on the ropes early.
Yeah, they certainly are on the ropes, and this is a very bright start by Lens, and again, I think it was interception there. In fact, it was Dixon that come across.
Stefan Dalma over the first corner of the contest. Beyond Verel, Debev retrieves. Dalma remains wide. Parler between him and the box. And Overmars between him and Debev. Winterburn with the ultimate clearance. Petit for Anelka. And now Overmars. Sikora, the fullback, with the tackle. Dehu with Sikora, getting it back to Guillaume Varmouze. Wearing 5 is Ernest Etchi, the left full-back from Cameroon, who gets his chance because of one of several injuries in the Lens lineup ahead of this game. Regular left-back Johan Lashaw is out of action, as is the regular centre-back Cyril Magnier. And so in stark contrast to Arsenal's back four, the French side still find themselves shaking hands and getting to know. But this is Smicha. Nouma up alongside. Dalma. Good tackle by Winterburn. Petit. Anelka. Xavier Meride at his back. Frenchman on Frenchman, and Anelka's got away, and Bergkamp's waiting. Meride was strong, and Dehu was composed.
I think he was looking for a bit of help coming up there, Peter, and they just never arrived for him.
Verel with pace. Adams well positioned, and Winterburn gets it clear up to Overmars. Very similar form from those two sides. That's Tony Verel, who is very much a crowd favourite here, has a personal fan club all to himself in one corner of the ground. Tony's corner, they call it. Both sides have picked up 7 points from their first 5 games domestically. Arsenal, we know, haven't lost any of theirs. 4 successive draws. Lens include 2 wins and 2 defeats. Most recent defeat at Monaco last Thursday, where they were beaten by 2 headers from David Trezeguet, who will need no introduction to saddened fans of Manchester United, who were made to pay by him at Old Trafford, of course, last year in this competition. Nicolas Anelka, who is hopeful that not only will he enhance Arsenal's prospects in this competition, but he'll enhance his own internationally by putting on a good show here today. Roger Lemaire, the new French international coach, will be monitoring events very closely. This is Dalma. Winterburn faced by Sikora, and doing well. And finding Petit, whose welcoming round of applause from the home supporters was heartwarming indeed. Likewise Vieira. Anelka, of course, wasn't involved in the World Cup. Parler in support. Restored to full fitness. Not showing too much of it to Etchi. Vieira long-leggedly as ever. Overmars wide. Bergkamp through the middle. This has got to be Overmars. Good tackle by De Hu. But the Dutchman will get a second bite. And earn Arsenal's first corner.
This is always when you feel that Arsenal could do something, you know. He wins the corner there, and this is dangerous now for the French side, because all the big boys are coming up for that. Tony Adams is there. Keown is there.
Petit at the near post. Anelka at the back. Parler edge of the 6-yard box as well. And all he found was Sikora. Smisser did well to pick out Pascal Nouma. Didn't find De Bev though.
Delightful turn there by Anelka, wasn't it?
It's a game that will clearly mean something to him.
Yeah, I would think the French players playing for Arsenal tonight would want to put on a show, Peter. You know, they're coming back to their own country and they'll be out to impress.
Parler's kept it in. Etchi was out of position. It's Parler's cross. And Xavier Marid with the clearance, only as far as Dixon. And Vieira. And Petit. And still Petit. Good strength, but it wouldn't come down kindly. Of course, his last significant contribution on French soil was to score in a World Cup final, no less. There are dreams and there are dreams. Smitser and De Bev. Overmars in on Mikel De Bev, who played in all but 5 games of Lens's championship season last time round. Overmars again back defending. This is De Hu. Dalma. Nice turn away from Vieira. Nouma through the inside right channel. Adams slamming the door shut. Overmars a bit clever for De Bev, but Sikora was there. Smitser, and that was Nouma. Partially away by Parler. De Bev for Sikora again. And another timely intervention by Dixon. And again the right fullback. And now Smitser the check. Adams, big number 6, got in the way. And now Anelka finally can hold it up for Overmars. Good tackle though by Marie. To Bev once again. This time it's Keown away. Poor cross that time. Etchi. Verel. Lovely turn away from Dixon. Dalma. Stéphane Dalma.
Well, it was a poor finish, but they really are putting Arsenal under a bit of pressure here. Good, keeping control of the ball, keep possession. Really knocking it around, you know, and Arsenal have really got to be on their toes.
Petit, good looking ball. Anelka. Pushed wide by Marid. Parler's chugging up in support. Might have struck his arm, but the assistant referee was right on the spot, allowed it to go on until Anelka was ultimately brought to earth. And Arsenal have a free kick in a position of some promise.
I think he was just trying to be a little bit too clever there, because he had support in Parler and didn't play him, and finally got whacked in the tackle.
Bergkamp has got out wide to take the set piece. Plenty of height inside the penalty area again. Keown has come forward. Likewise Adams. Anelka nearest goal. Bergkamp's free kick. Beyond both Adams and Keown at the back post, and a free kick is awarded defensively. De Bev. Smisser. Winterburn facing his own goal, asking a little of Seaman. Seaman is nothing if not unflappable. Bergkamp still waiting to come to life, not just tonight, but over the season. And as a result of his short pass, Numas bursting through the middle. Adams balks his progress. And Racing Club Lawes have a free kick.
Well, Tony Adams, the centre referee, I couldn't really do an awful lot about it. I just stood and the player ran into him, which he did. There you are, he's just standing there. I mean, what is he expected to do? Disappear?
Whether or not Numa played for the set piece, he has it. Sikora is over it. Likewise to Bev and the captain Dehu. It's De Bev who hits it. Got a mini deflection, but nothing to cause too much concern to David Seaman. Vultures are starting to encircle David Seaman a little unkindly and, in my view, unreasonably early in the season. Two stories linking him with moves abroad, albeit to extremely fashionable clubs. Anelka. Murray taking away his feet from beneath him. Anelka, whose last two goals have both come at Wembley in the cup final and the Charity Shield. Winterburn, Adams, Petit, Adams, Winterburn, and now Keown. Anelka short. Keown's kept going. Parler's in space. Keown didn't see him. Here's Vieira. Now Parler in space with the ball. If he can keep it in, he can't.
Yeah, the idea was right. You know, the pace of the ball just a little bit too much. I mean, it's a beautiful surface, this.
Daniel Leclerc is more than just a hero in these parts. His scarecrow looks belie.
I think he's looking very smart tonight. I mean, last night at training, he did look like a scarecrow last night, but he's looking smart tonight with a tie on.
Well, he's put his tie on. But he's certainly got plenty of footballing nous, and he it was who guided Lens to their first title in his first year as coach. Overmars. Dalma, and then De Bev. Sikora. Smisser. De Bev. Etchi, the Cameroonian.
Well, that was a waste. But last night when we watched him training, Peter, they were spending a little bit of time switching the ball as they did there, you know, from right to left and left to right, you know, dragging Arsenal across and then switching the ball. Part Right's probably telling Arsene Wenger that's what he thinks.
Yes, Arsene Wenger, of course, needed no introduction to anyone once he touched down at Lille yesterday, in the centre of everyone's attention, and has made some very complimentary comments about French football, as well as he might. France, of course, are, after all, world champions. He was wise enough to point out also that the English League, opulent as it is at the moment, is perhaps a preferable place to be plying his trade.
Now, you see, that was ridiculous here. You know, the French player pretended he'd been kicked in the head there. The boot wasn't even anywhere near him.
Dalma. Good starting challenge by Petit. Parler was therefore able to find Bergkamp. Bergkamp for Anelka. Has he got the pace? He might have done, but he didn't have the ball.
Well, that was a wonderful pass there by Dennis Bergkamp. A beautiful pass. The pace of Anelka got him clear, and it just needed a little prod there. He got a bit of a knock, and finally the defender getting among his heels, but just a little bit of look at the pushing and shoving going on there.
But what a good tackle by Dehu. Took the ball very, very well.
Of course it was.
Lee Dixon, one of a back five for Arsenal, who between them, hear this, have 51 years experience at the club. incredible statistic that. He's been there 10.5 years. And now defends a free kick over which is Etchi. Aim towards Smisser, out as far as Numa. Winterburn winning it off Sikora. Bergkamp. Bags and bags of space for Parla. Dixon's wide of him, and Anelka inside of him. 3-on-3 for a moment. This is Dixon. Dixon's left-footed drive. He's a right-footed player.
I didn't fancy that when he come inside on his left foot. But you know, Arsenal are beginning to catch him a little bit on the break. And again, that was, you know, another opportunity for them.
Nearly 2 years since Lee Dixon last scored at Newcastle in November of 1996.
Was it with his left foot?
Pass. Dixon in a more familiar defensive role, beating Numa to the loose ball, but Numa has it again now from Verral's clever back heel. That's Nyako. Sikora, seen a lot of the ball early on. Smisser turning. Overmars in there, Petit, Vieira, Anelka. Xavier Merid right up behind him. And into the bumper.
Well, that's not the first foul Merid has had on him, on Anelka. You know, he's sticking right close, he's giving him a right few whacks.
Winterburn with the free kick. And then Petit pulls rank. Aimed at Bergkamp. Away from him by Etchi. And Barmouze denies Bergkamp even at corner. Dennis Bergkamp, as I mentioned, still waiting to come alight this season. Hasn't scored a goal since the goal. That great goal he got against Argentina for Holland in Marseille. He did score one of Holland's penalties in the shootout against Brazil, but that was all to no avail. Verral. Nyako. Numa. Dalma. Vieira is just so strong.
It's those long legs of his, you know, just reaches a big long leg in there and makes the block.
Patrick Vieira, another one of the World Cup finalists and World Cup champions. Seaman, who kept a clean sheet when last he played here. Anelka, another good tackle by Merid. He's shown a willingness to take a shin if he doesn't take the ball. That was clean enough. Merid in behind Anelka. And the implication from the linesman's flagging, I think, was that maybe ball made contact with hand. Well, as being unbeaten this season, Arsenal, if you don't take into account the two meaningless games they lost at the back end of last season when they were already champions, haven't lost what you would call a meaningful game since February the 18th when they lost to Chelsea in the Coca-Cola Cup semi-final. So when they've needed to remain unbeaten, they have. And for all they haven't quite excited in the same way yet, they remain extremely compact and competent and liable to change gear at any moment. Anelka. Vieira. Keown. Winterburn for Adams. He was also there when England beat Colombia 2-0. Parla. Anelka.
With his shadow again. You know, he's not going to get much room tonight, Anelka. But if he can get the ball in and around the penalty area, you know, Merid's got to be careful.
It's quite a compliment to Anelka that Lawrence seemed to be having someone so close to him, even closer to him than Dehu is apparently to Bergkamp.
Well, who's playing as a sweeper, and the number 9, Nyarko, is picking up Dennis Bergkamp, as he is now.
Bergkamp away from Nyarko, with Overmars alongside. Dennis Bergkamp, 2 back now, away from Dahu. Bergkamp's cross, too far in advance of Overmars.
I think he was caught in 2 minds there, Dennis Bergkamp. He saw Overmars at the back post, thought, should I chip it to him, or try and chip the keeper? Maybe we'll see from this angle here. You know, he has a look up, and I think he was trying to chip the keeper.
Adams from deep. Anelka and Marid again. That is going to be a subplot, and quite a major one.
Well, I think the referee has got to say, how many fouls are you going to concede here before I do something about it? You know, I mean, that's persistent fouling.
There's the target, Dennis Bergkamp. Winterburn over the free kick. Parler's gone down. The referee is unimpressed. Adams forward again. Flag is still down, but Overmars won't get that.
The Parler was appealing that he'd been pulled down. I think it was by Etchi.
Smisser for Numa. Lawes were quick out of the blocks, but much of the last 10 minutes has been played in their half. Dahu. Verel. Parler's tackle. Good again from Verel. He's got a trick that's beaten Dixon once or twice already. But Keown was covering well. Verel again in what appeared a cul-de-sac. And he was too zealous in trying to escape from it. Bergkamp, Etchi at his back, and Nyarko never far away from him. Nyarko took on 3. Referee and his assistant had different opinions on whose the throw-in should be, and Helmut Krug won the day. Vieira, Petit, Dahu. Patrick Vieira. Parler once again. Anelka couldn't take it down. Sikora very calm and collected. And Varmoes with a clearance that found Dalmat. Dalmat seeking out Smisser, and Adams was the last man before Seaman. Smisser's throw. De Beth. Over Numa towards Verel. Diving header from Dixon. Numa. Seaman's come. Winterburn got in the clearance, but he's taken a shove in so doing.
Yeah, fouled in the process. But there was a bit of a scramble going on there in the Arsenal penalty area, and when the goalkeeper came out for it, that wasn't too convincing, was it? You know, if the ball had run free there and they're claiming a penalty on Keown, I don't think so.
Nasty one for Seaman, bounced at that least convenient point.
Yeah, but
and he had Verel right on him too.
Yeah, but I thought he might have got his hands to it.
Now this is the result of Dixon's brave header a few seconds before the replay we just witnessed. And you can see Gary Lewin there indicating that he's quite concerned about the knock to the head that Dixon's taken. Overmars communicating the problem to Arsene Wenger. And the discussion possibly going beyond that now. Dixon, meanwhile, is up. But at least for the moment, leaving the field.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't think he actually got kicked when he dived. I think it was a case of maybe caught the ball awkwardly, but I mean, he has gone off.
Ray Parlour at right back just for now.
But he's back on again. I think the ball just caught Dixon in the top of the head, and it's made him a little bit groggy.
Going to have to be on his mettle right away. He and Keown went for the same ball.
He was happy that Keown took that one, I think.
Parlour. And again, lovely return pass from Bergkamp. Anelka waiting in the middle. This is Ray Parlour. Whose was the block? Etchi clambering all over the England B international. Free kick Arsenal's way. Here come Adams and Keown again, of course, and Petit making a late run into the box. Adams has peeled away. Bergkamp's free kick, and Barmous has gathered. And ever present in Delan's title win last season, the keeper Guillaume Barmous. Hails from the south of the country, from Marseille.
Well, I think that's 1-1 when it comes to getting the wrong decisions. Yeah?
Quite how he worked that out, I'm not sure. Sikora. Numa trying to turn, Adams right up behind him.
Now, for my money, Adams got the ball there, albeit that he did come in from behind, but I mean, he just prodded his right foot in and got the ball. Watch this. There you go.
Spot on. It's Debev with the free kick. Numa. Verel off Dixon. Sikora. Winterburn clear. Debev. Smisser. Winterburn's clearance. Debev again. Vieira down for Anelka. Petit. Couldn't find Bergkamp. Delmar emerges with ball and tries to play in Verel. Dixon had hold of him. Referee waves play on. It's Tony Verel. Verel's cross and Seaman's parry.
Well, Verel looks to me to be the danger man, as far as loans are concerned. You know, he's given Dixon a bit of a handful out there.
Here he is again. Delmar made the dummy run. This is Debev. Debev's strike. And the valve is let go from Arsenal's point of view because they've surely been under the cosh, and that's the reason why. This fellow, a bit of a Roy Race lookalike. And he's a good player too.
Yes, he is a good player. And as I say, he's given Dixon a bit of a warm time out there.
Won his first cap for France against Austria in Vienna last month. But then wasn't involved in the European Championship qualifier against Iceland more recently.
Not a bad actor as well.
That was Dixon deemed to have given him a push in the back. Etchi. Delmar. Dahu. Nyako. Verel. Numa through the middle. Varel wants to go himself. Tony Varel. Goal kick.
He's basically a right-sided player playing on the left, and it's, you know, it's always dangerous when they do come inside. He's coming onto his good foot, Peter, and I mean, he didn't get a hold of that one, but you know, we'll see this as the game goes on. He likes to come inside and have a whack with his good foot.
Dalma. Lots of space. He's got well clear of Dixon. Keown between him and the penalty area. Dalma's cross. Adams away, and Parlow was there as the outlet. And he's played a super ball for Anelka, and Bergkamp is free. It's Anelka. It might be Bergkamp. It turns out to be only Ernest Etchi.
Well, it was a poor ball by Anelka. They carved him up. His pace had got him away, and he was clear. And really, he's got to find Bergkamp with that ball.
Bergkamp. Etchi again. Varel. Winterburn ahead of Smisser. Nyako. Numa. Petit's challenge was allowed to stand. Keown has found Anelka. Overmars has faded infield. Nyako went back to ensure the ball didn't reach him. De Bev. Numa's crying for it. Flag stayed down. Pascal Numa, who a year ago tonight was in the Strasbourg side, taking on Rangers in the UEFA Cup. A year ago tonight, Arsenal were in Salonika, being beaten also in the UEFA Cup. Fantastic noise. There's a very British feel about this stadium. Offside against Numa.
Yeah, it's a great stadium to play in this, Peter. You know, the crowd right close to the touchlines, great atmosphere. It's like a Premier League game, isn't it?
When Lens won the league on the last day of last season at Auxerre, the team travelled back and reached this ground in the early hours of the morning, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there were 20,000 here to greet them. I don't suppose much work was done the next day. Vieira. Surely a foul on Anelka. And Marie gets away with it again in terms of the card. Petit's free kick. Bergkamp in the box. Read away, and Varel. Dixon for Bergkamp. Overmars taking a defender away. Bergkamp wide for Dixon. Inside of Etchi. Awkward for Petit. And simple enough for Vamoose. De Beb's in a nasty corner. And Vieira wouldn't let him out of it. Daniel Leclerc actually replaced the new French coach Roger Lemaire as the boss here at Lens, when Lemaire went off to be Aimé Jacquet's number 2 in the build-up to the World Cup. Petit with a free kick. Adams, of course, is forward. Keown together with him at the back post. Petit drifting it in. Neither centre-back could make any contact. Two goals in the World Cup for that man, not just the one in the final, but he scored against Denmark earlier in the competition. back in the Arsenal side after his suspension at Leicester on Saturday. Remember, he was sent off against Charlton. Birel, Dalma. Dixon for Bergkamp, nice touch. Parler. Bergkamp. Anelka's the target. Bev robbed by Anelka. The second chance and needed it. Dahu the skipper. Adams the skipper. Dalma. Smisser. Lovely turn. Vladimir Smisser. Closed down by Keown. It's come to Verel. Tony Verel! Arsenal were playing with fire. And he is hot.
Well, we've said it before, but he is certainly the danger man. Petit looks as if he's got a bit of an injury there. But Virel makes a break, bursts into the box, challenged by Petit.
Whether or not he played the ball here, Petit, after Keown made the error, and we won't see it, whether or not Petit played the ball, it was an important intervention. Not such a clever pass by the Frenchman.
Very unlike Arsenal, that, isn't it?
Dalma. What a nice turn. Deep cross from Dalma. Smisser. Sikora! Adams away.
That was a bit of a chance, Peter. You know, they haven't had many what you could say were clear-cut chances in the first half loans, but I thought that one was.
Etchi. Newmar came to get it, and then gave it to Parler. And then won it back, Pascal Newmar. Illegally in the view of Helmut Krug.
Didn't please the crowd, that one, did it? I think I would like to see Bergkamp play a little bit further upfield. You know, he's there at the moment, but he's been dropping very, very deep. But I think with a marker on him, I think it's if he gets him in and around the box, he might make something happen.
Anelka trying to do likewise there.
You know, when you've got somebody marking you tight, like Anelka's been marked tight, Bergkamp been marked tight. If you're in the middle of the field, the defender can come in and hit you and bang you, and you know, okay, it's a foul, but it's not a dangerous situation. But you do it in and around the penalty area. It's a different ball game.
Adams.
Bit of culture from Tony there.
Sometimes that's defending though, isn't it?
Yes.
Sikora. De Bev. Hardly any more cultured.
Yeah, look, De Bev is not having the best of games. I would say he's probably for a rest in the second half.
Dahu with the back pass. Palmer's just had to hurry a tad. Vieira's stolen it from Dalma. Parler. And then Vieira is considered to have fouled. Vast difference in the history of these two teams. Arsenal have been in the top league in England since 1919. Lens only since 1991 in France. Arsenal's 14th European campaign. Lens, it's only 7. Dalmat over the free kick. Dahu has come forward. Merid is getting there as well. Nyako is a target. Numa is a target. Berel's a target. There's Dahu. Dalmat's ball in. Keown got it momentarily away. Good challenge by Adams. Smisser. Offside against Numa. Over Mars for Bergkamp, away from Dahu. Tackle though by Sikora. This is Stefan Dalmat. This is Tony Adams. Over Mars. Bergkamp. And again from deep, Dennis Bergkamp. Vieira. Winterburn. Adams, who by his very pose looks as though he's rolling up his sleeves and clenching his fist, and he likes nothing more. Keown. Anelka. This time he's given himself a yard from Merid, and then he gave it back. Well, that is some man marker. You've got to say he stuck to his job.
Oh, he stuck to his job. Both the markers have stuck to their job. This fella's had a lot of fouls against Anelka, but he's also made some very good timely tackles.
Parla. Oh, it's done well there, Ray Parla. If Dixon can keep it in. Merid. Nasty moment for Xavier Merid, but he made good. Winterburn on Smisser. Nyako, away from Vieira. Berel is pulled wide again. Dalmat. Numa. Out to Etchi. Now that is hopeful.
That was hope. But again, well done, Tony Adams there. You know, a lovely little tackle there, just nipped the ball away.
Towards the end of the first half, a thought or two?
Well, I think Arsenal will be expecting a little bit more from the likes of Overmars and Bergkamp. You know, they're really not getting into the game at all. You know, they're depending again on this back four and doing a great job. And the midfield boys are doing a great job. But I think the lads up the front here have got to do a little bit more. I don't think they've been really troubled at the back. You know, I think Adams and company have managed to sort of, you know, keep the Longs team at bay, and there's not really been many clear-cut chances, if any, for them. So that side of it is good for Arsenal, but I feel that, you know, there really has to be a little bit more effort from the three forward players.
Adams. T. To Bev did well, and so did Dahu, and so did Sikora. That was nice. Nyako. Smisser. There'll be 1 minute of added time. Sikora has quickly taken free kicks. Smisser. Cleverly away from Vieira. Berel. Referees let it go. Sikora is wide. Numa's unmarked for the moment. Sikora's cross. Winterburn's header down. Parla got it clear. Nyako fouled it. Well taken and quickly. Vieira. Anelka. There's Merid. Anelka's held it up. Bergkamp's arriving. Dennis Bergkamp. Hardly typical of that man.
No, he's claiming a corner kick, but it was a poor effort on his left foot, wasn't it?
Well, this was deemed by the experts to be Arsenal's simplest Champions League journey. But it's turning out to be marginally more complicated than that. Their goal has been under more siege than has the Lens goal. And at half-time in northern France, it remains RC Lens 0, Arsenal 0.
Take a break with our sensational Viagra Readers Survey. Take a break with our expose on how shop assistants mislead us. Take a break and win a Renault Clio or a supermarket sweep. If life's a juggling act, take a break. Out now.
Join the party. Call 0930 18 18 18 now. That's 0930 18 18 18. Call the party now.
New sugar-free airwaves from Wrigley's releases wave after wave of menthol and eucalyptus vapours to help clear your nose. Wrigley's Airwaves long-lasting vapor release gum.
Heat styling can actually improve the condition of your hair, because with heat-activated organics, where there's heat, there's beautiful hair.
Peter Mulvey, your girls tell us you're the sweatiest man in Hawlins. Say hello to Nicky with a ticky.
To challenge Shaw for Men, we are Sweaty Old Peter to drive across Peru in a PVC suit.
Feeling confident? Then show us your tick.
Oh, Peter, you didn't outsweat Shaw for Men.
Nicky with a ticky. Take him away and tick him off.
Because some soaps and shower gels can leave your skin feeling dry, you still have to use a body lotion. So can you enjoy soft-feeling skin after washing? Oil of Ulay solved the problem by adding 75% Ulay moisturizer to their first body wash system. It cleans your whole body and moisturizes your skin so intensively that your skin feels softer and smoother, like the feel of a body lotion. And the name? Oil of Ulay Moisturizing Body Wash. We can prove your skin can feel softer and smoother.
When you cut out smoking, your body misses the nicotine and your hands miss the cigarette, which is why you should try the new Nicorette inhalator. It provides just enough nicotine to relieve your craving, and it gives your hands something to hold. Clinical tests also prove it can double your chances to cut out smoking compared to willpower alone. If you're determined to cut out smoking, ask your pharmacist for the new Nicorette inhalator, or for more information ring 0800 244 83 87.
When the bed's freshly made, what matters to me is that I get in first.
Persil Performance gives everything that unmistakable line-dried freshness, because it matters.
Now there's a toothpaste that gives you the most complete protection available. Colgate Total. The minute you stop brushing, bacteria start spreading, even below the gum line, where serious problems can start. Long-lasting Colgate Total is different. Its antibacterial shield not only protects against plaque, tartar and cavities between brushing, it's now even proven to limit the build-up of bacteria below the gum line. Colgate Total. So advanced, it even protects below the gum line.
Arsenal start the second half on the back of a ropey recent record in Europe. They haven't won any of their last 6 games in continental competition, dating back to 1995. A year ago tonight, they were losing in Greece without this man, Bergkamp, who wouldn't fly and won't again this season, so he's got to make the most of his one accessible away game.
I think we'd like to see him flying tonight on the pitch.
Well, Parlour's fly kick has only found touch.
You get the feeling, you know, watching Arsenal that, I mean, this is their first time in the Champions League format, and it's different from any other competition, you know, in Europe. You know, this league format, you've got to go and win these games away from home. And it would appear to me tonight, they look as if they're maybe quite happy to get the draw, but the draw really, Peter, you know, you find out, because we've been working in these games now for a number of years, you know, draws are no use to you away from home. You've got to get in there and win them.
Frédéric Dehoux, the captain of Lens, is over this free kick. Floated towards Numa, who had Adams to contend with. Petit got it clear. Dehu has it back. Stéphane Dalmat. Etchi's overlapped from full back. Berel has it. Dalmat has it back. And Petit is tackled. Vieira, Anelka. He was 1 yard offside, he was 10. Sikora, Debev, Smisser. Lovely wiggle this way and that. Debev again. Smashing ball for Etchi, changing the point of attack. Nayako, Verel. Vieira necessarily uncomplicated. Bergkamp, Anelka. Now they've got 2-on-1 if they make it count. This is Dennis Bergkamp. Now Bergkamp. No. It's just not happening for him.
Well, he's claiming the corner kick, but really, he's got to get the shot on target. Anelka slid him in lovely. One touch there. Yes, and I think it was a corner kick, but, you know, he just wasn't quick enough on the trigger.
You can't help feeling that in May and June and July, the net would have bulged then, but somehow in September it's not. Parla. Nayako close to Bergkamp again. Numa's come deep to collect. Tried to seek out Debev, but Winterburn read it. Vieira. Oh, he's got himself, and now he's fed Dennis Bergkamp. Good save. Didn't have a lot to aim at, the Dutchman, that time. But twice inside the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half, he's found himself with a clear view of goal.
Again, beautifully set up for him, and, you know, he hit it straight at the goalkeeper. Not like him at all. Normally he'd be tucking it away in the far corner.
More promising start, though, for Arsenal. Petit's ball in. Keown competing for it. And those glaring eyes will tell you it's a goal kick. If ever a player looked focused on a game of football, it's Martin Keown, and he looks focused for every game.
It's very encouraging that the start that Arsenal have made this second half. You know, I mean, 2 clear-cut chances, Peter, not something they had in the first.
And you don't like to criticise Dennis Bergkamp. He's been very open about his shortage of form since the start of the season. He knows he's not quite there yet. He's an honest man, and we all know he's a fabulous footballer, just waiting to happen again. Debev, Verel, Numa going in there, Seaman coming to get. Anelka, oh, lovely turn of pace and a great touch as well. And this is Petit, and this is Overmars! Arsenal have broken through. A Dutchman for the English champions on French soil.
Well, it was an absolutely brilliant goal. I mean, the build-up to it was just excellent down the left-hand side of the field. Watch Anelka here, watch this little flick. Beautiful. Petit plays him across there, and lovely. I mean, we've seen Overmars do this so often, running onto balls like that and just sliding them into the empty net. Lovely, but beautiful pass.
What a slick finish. The goalkeeper, already perhaps because of Overmars' eyes, had committed himself one way, and Overmars was always going the other.
Well, we were saying half-time, just prior to half-time, expecting a little bit more from the front players of Arsenal, but they've certainly served it up.
Now it'll be interesting to see what happens now that Numa and co have it to chase.
Well, that's right, Peter, and I think we will see more gaps appearing.
Bergkamp. Keogh seeking out Overmars again. Parler's galloping forward. Great eagerness about this fella. Nice turn from Verel. And Dixon's gone to earth, and Verel's played a clever ball and got it back from Delmar. Delmar for Verel again. Adams got an unlucky bounce off Vieira and got away with it.
A great play by Verel, wasn't it? Exciting play down the left-hand side here by Lawrence.
Game's got its lift now.
Well, it has. I mean, it really needed the goal to get the whole thing going. We've got that now, and Lawrence have got to go for it as well. And, I think we're in for a terrific second half.
Dixon's throw. Parler. Petit. Niarco. Petit again. He's gone through a couple of gears.
But I must say, he's a very, very competitive player in the middle of the field, Petit. Last night at training, that's the way he plays all the time. And when you see a player at training doing it, you know he's got the right attitude.
Lashing down with rain as it was last evening. Much more pleasant day today in the north of France. But rather than hiding, that man with the header, Petit, was making the most of conditions for sliding tackles. Overmars the scorer. Bergkamp, his compatriot. Sikora in the way. Dalma. Sikora. The fullbacks will have to get forward increasingly now for the French champs. Out by Winterburn. Sikora. Verel. Much of Dixon's ankle as the ball, and it's a free kick Arsenal's way. Sikora, Smisa. You'll recall this man perhaps from Euro 96 when he was one of the stars of that excellent Czech Republic team. Turned up a couple of times at Anfield. Now Overmars, tail up, bit between the teeth. Mark Overmars, oh! Now that would have been really special.
Oh, that was special. I mean, that was Overmars in overdrive there. Bust right through, and a great left foot shot. Beats the keeper, all ends up, and bang off the post. That would have been a great goal.
And since half-time, Arsenal have started to look like Arsenal did look.
Well, I mean, Overmars I was criticising in the first half for his non-involvement. And the second half, he's been the star so far.
Monsieur Wenger clearly had a few bon mots.
Maybe, yes.
Keogh. Closer to Varmuz than Anelka. Etchi. Numa. There's one crestfallen coach. Give it to Overmars and see what happens. Here's what happens now. He's away from Sikora. The square ball for Parla didn't come off.
I don't think actually he meant it for Parla. He was looking for an Elka there and just a bad ball.
Etchi. Dalma. That's Dehu hitting it long. That's Numa. And that is Martin Keown with the red boots and the red heart. Red heart of Arsenal. Parla. Petit. Bergkamp onside if he can get there. Bounced unkindly for him.
That was a good little move there, you know, and Elka had come deep for the ball, left a hole behind, and Bergkamp went into it.
Overmars cut it out, and Bergkamp is deemed offside.
I think just fractionally, you know, Peter.
See that again.
Yeah, fractionally off, I thought. There's interception. Oh, well, I don't think so. I think you're probably right. Very unfortunate.
Dubev. Smisser. Petit. Vieira. Parla. Anelka. Nice idea.
Hard luck, Ray Parla. Lovely skill there by the Frenchman.
Arsenal have never lost to a French team in European competition. Indeed, on the 3 previous occasions when they've taken on French sides, they've reached at least the final of the competition in which they're competing. So that bodes well.
Yes, it does.
Rouen on the way to the Fairs Cup, which they won in 1970. Paris Saint-Germain on the way to the Cup Winners' Cup, which they won in 94. And then in 95, they beat Auxerre on the way to losing the final of the Cup Winners' Cup. They lost that, by the way, in Paris. So that's where the good luck ends. Vieira. Petit. Anelka. He's got away. Parla. Anelka. Parla. Awkward one for the keeper who couldn't pick it up. Arsenal are clicking now, though. Dalma. Fouled by Petit.
The Arsenal are beginning to carve them up a little bit now. A bit unfortunate there with Parla, but you feel now that they've got the one. The Arsenal can go on and build on that.
Dubev. Berel. Tripped by Vieira. And in the same square yard of grass as the referee, so he wasn't going to miss that. Sikora. Good run by the fullback. Smisser's wide. Winterburn won't let him have the ball, though. Bergkamp. Oh, sumptuous pass if Anelka can get that. Goalkeeper read it nicely. Berel. Dixon's touch counted for a lot. Seaman's got some thinking to do. Adams helps him. Oh, Petit got caught. So Adams made it simple. Dehu, Anelka clattered into him.
Well, that was clumsy of Anelka. You know, he's showing that he's prepared to do his little bit for the team, but I just ran across there and, you know, it was just a reckless foul.
The crowd wanted to see a card, which wasn't forthcoming. This is Verel. Good tackle by Adams. Sums the man up. Dubev. Numa. Berel. Overmars. Oh, clumsy tackle by Sikora. just wonder whether the German referee has had his pocket sewn up, because he can't get into it. Winterburn's free kick. Overmars with pressure on Dehu. Parler. Oh, he's made Etche look clumsy. Parler's ball. Oh, Dixon won it back. Well, it seemed.
Yeah, the referee, I felt, made a mistake there. I don't think Parler actually gave the right ball here. You know, he burst into the box well, and that didn't make the best use of it. But you know, you mentioned the referee there. I'm quite happy the referee's not throwing cards around, Peter, you know. I think he's refereeing the game well. It's not a dirty game in any way at all. And I just feel he's got the spirit of it, and I think he's doing the right thing.
Overmars. Petit. Anelka. Bergkamp outside, Parler inside. That's Bergkamp. Anelka at pace, frightening pace sometimes, but he couldn't take the ball with him.
Well, the ball just sat up from there, Peter. If he'd managed to get a little touch on that, he was clear.
Smisa. Berel. Numa offside. Up went those Arsenal hands, the way they always have.
Well held the back line.
Can't help thinking of the full Monty when you see that.
Yeah.
It was a World Cup ground, this, which was about much more than just England's game against Colombia. Saw some terrific action. Robbie Earle's goal for Jamaica on this ground. Germany 2, Yugoslavia 2. The Germans were 2 behind.
You and I were at that one, Peter, weren't we?
It was a very enjoyable afternoon. Blatant handball by Nyako.
Oh,
and he is going to get booked.
Yeah. You see now, this is where I feel it's all wrong. I mean, it was just a little handball, and out comes a card where, you know, other tackles that we were saying, he might have booked people when he didn't do it. But that's the rules. You put your hand up and handball, and you get a yellow card for it.
Petit over the resultant free kick. Sikora was up at the near post, and his appeared the only touch. It's a corner.
Well, you know, last night at training we were watching Long's train as well, and they were very uncomfortable with balls. They tried a few balls against their own defenders, and they were very uncomfortable with them. And we thought, well, Arsenal would maybe pick up on that tonight, but nothing so far.
Overmars to the near post. Vieira going in there. Keown. Overmars. He's slipped one, and he's won another corner. Overmars deeper with this one. Vieira's not down. Smisa can bring it away. Dubev. Verrell will have to check. And even in so doing, he couldn't keep the ball in play. Also here in the World Cup, Spain 6, Bulgaria 1. Remember that night? Spain didn't go through anyway. Overmars. Couldn't pick out Parler. Same night, Paraguay beat Nigeria against all the odds. And of course, the World Cup's first ever golden goal for Laurent Blanc against Paraguay. Overmars, lovely ball. Bergkamp having to peel away. Parler behind him. Vieira. Adams. Adams will keep going himself if invited so to do. Anelka couldn't quite nick inside. And Verai went right back to gather the ball for himself. It's been a while since he's had a run with ball at feet. That's Nyako. Dehu. Dalma. Sikora. Sikora with the cross. Smisa holding it up. Vladimir Smisa. Keown hurled himself at the ball. Anelka. Vieira with the overlapping run. And Anelka with a pass that gave Parler no hope. Parler again. Bergkamp. Anelka. Vieira, if it gets there. Dehu ensures that it doesn't for now. Overmars. To Bev at his back. Vieira in support. Oh, between them they took the Frenchman out beautifully. Overmars couldn't feed it through for Anelka. And Sikora got it clear, and De Bev has it, and Smisser is one way, and Numa's through the middle, and Dalma is square. And here's Nyako coming up from behind. Verel wants it himself. Sikora is wide. Sikora's cross. Corner. The best the French side have passed for a while.
Yep. But again, the defending is terrific by Arsenal. I never fail to be impressed by them. You know, they're so good, the back four.
Dalmar with the corner. Newmar getting up there. Dehu. De Bev. Winterburn got up well. Dixon partially away, but across the face of his own penalty area. Stefan Dalma, good strength. Couldn't quite find half a yard for a finish.
That was Winterburn there with a really timely tackle at the back.
Parler. Willingness itself.
Well, he's such a strong player. Getting very much involved in the second half.
Verel. Dalma. And again, Tony Verel and Stefan Dalma. Parler in at his back, free kick. And it's very nearly plumb centre. Before it a change, and Pascal Nouma is being withdrawn. And in place of him, Daniel Moreira. A summer buy from Guingamp, who were actually relegated from the French First Division, but who blossomed during an awkward season for his club and was always tipped to stay at the highest domestic level. Moreira on, wearing 10.
Replaced by player number 10, Daniel Moreira.
Moreira is pulled away to the left of the free kick situation. Sikora's hit it! And hit the crossbar, and Moreira! And again Moreira. And Adams intervened crucially.
And just before him, that was Dixon as well that got the block on. But that was a tremendous free kick, wasn't it? I mean, Seaman's like stand on his heels. But look, we didn't see the interception here. Too late, we're missing it.
Moreira's corner into the side netting. Most dangerous moment from an Arsenal point of view. And here it is from Eric Sikora.
Well, Seaman just looked at that, didn't he? I mean, it was a terrific free kick.
There was some summer newspaper talk about that right full-back Sikora heading maybe to Manchester United. Not sure that it had an awful lot of substance, but it's to Lens' immense profit that he's stayed with them. Bergkamp, Parler. Parler into the penalty area. Nicolas Anelka!
Wonderful surging run again down the right-hand side. And really, Anelka's got to do better, hasn't he?
Now De Bev's in trouble. The second yellow card of the evening for that foul on Emmanuel Petit. Petit's fitness, of course, had been in doubt prior to the game.
Well,
he injured himself in training yesterday, but this one looks rather...
Oh, yeah, that's a bad one.
Less easy to recover from.
Yeah, that's a bad one. It really cost him there.
Stephen Hughes deputised for Emmanuel Petit when he was suspended at the weekend in the Premiership.
This was a surgeon run by Parla before, and a lovely little roll back there, you know, and Elka really got to get his toe down and put a bit of power on that.
Comfortable height for the keeper.
Yeah.
Arsenal down to 10. And from that picture, you've got to say that Petit seems an improbable player for the
He's
rest
out
of the
of it.
game.
Hughes is coming on.
Well, this young man scored an absolute belter at Filbert Street in the very last minute.
Yeah, you would know what a Barnes Wallace was, would you, Peter?
Of course.
Yeah,
I watched my black and white films.
Well, that is it, yes. And that was the goal at Filbert Street.
Yes. And if he can do to Guillaume Vamous what he did to Casey Keller, then there'll be no Gunners complaining.
I think he's an excellent young player, this. A lot of talent.
Winterbourne's free kick. Sikora, who rattled Arsenal's crossbar a short while ago. Terrific free kick, but ultimately fruitless. So Arsenal stay ahead. Etchi. Barel. Adams. Dalmar won it back. Smisser. Tabev was slack. That is not a pretty sight. It was not a pretty challenge, and the glimpse you got of Emmanuel Petit's face there suggests that it really hurts. Keown. Parla. Anelka making the scissors run. Hughes through the middle now. Bergkamp. Overmars. Who was shown enough of it. Well, one back by Winterbourne. Quarter of an hour left. Parla with Etchi at his back. Etchi in his shorts.
Etchi on his back.
Dixon took it short for Parla. Parla's ball for Anelka!
Parla and Anelka, little combination again there. But Ray Parla's doing some great work, surging down this right-hand side of the field. He seems to be getting stronger, you know, as the rest of the players are beginning to wilt a bit.
Another change in the Lens lineup, and Xavier Meride, who has been Anelka's shadow for a lot of the evening, is being replaced by Cyril Roll, for whom this is a first appearance for Lens after a £3 million move from Bastia in the summer, immediately after which he got injured. And so far, after costing £3 million, he's played half a game for the reserves at Calais. So this will mean a lot to him. Delma, Roll. Debev. Smisser. Debev. Morera. Farrell. Foul. And a little bit of afters. That's the whistling you're hearing. That was the initial contact.
Well, I think he feels that Varel made a bit of a back for him, you know, and you can always get hurt doing that. Big Martin not too well pleased.
Tony Varel began his footballing life at Nancy, which he has in common with no less immortal than Michel Platini. Bergkamp through the middle, and Overmars through the middle. Wouldn't come down. Roll. Nyako. Hughes with the snappy tackle. Bergkamp picking up pieces. Nyako stealing it from him. Smisser wide. Vladimir Smisser. Varel. Dulma. Dixon. Importantly. Overmars. 2-on-2. Dehu, good tackle. Varel. Away from Bergkamp and Hughes, and still going. Smisser, Adams. De Bev.
They're having a good spell at the moment, long as you feel that if they're going to score a goal, you know, they've got to do it now, they've got to do it quickly.
Roll. Morera. In towards Varel. And Seaman. Latest news we have from the dressing room on Emmanuel Petit. We gather that he has incurred some damage to his shin and possibly to his ankle, not the one he hurt in training last evening. This is Delma. Morera. Delma. Good looking ball for Smisser. Seaman sportingly has belted the ball straight into touch, because off the ball, yards and yards off the ball, Ernest Etche, the young full-back, simply went to earth, clutching his leg.
I think it's cramped, Peter.
Got to be.
Yeah. Yeah, the old leg seized up on him.
There's the goal. Wasn't it well taken? Really well taken by Overmars. But the pass from Petit.
Well, it was so inviting, wasn't it?
Didn't you make a career on passes like that? And that's just how he looked on this ground when they scored against Colombia, David Seaman. Seen that picture before. Lawns a man light. Roll having to effectively do two jobs. Slotting in at left full back in the absence of Etche. And Nelka, nice touch. Parla, nice pace. Keeper has stayed put. And Nelka is free. Parla's cross. Sikora away. Roll. Varel. Keown. Bergkamp. Parla. Keown. Dehu. Shepherded well.
Changement pour le Racing Club de Lens. Sortie du numéro 5, Etche.
In place of Etche.
Par le numéro 26, Sankaré.
A 19-year-old defender for whom this is a first-team debut, left full back. Abubakar Sankare.
Replaced by player number 26, Sankara.
Further news of Emmanuel Petit. It's a sprained ankle. Parla. Anelka. Oh, behind by Sikora.
I'm so impressed with Ray Parla tonight in the second half. I mean, he has had so many runs down that side. He's created so many chances, and he's got boundless energy.
Overmars, shorter option for Hughes. And Overmars again. There was Adams making a charge from the far post. Who got it clear? Bergkamp. Very, very deep. Anelka attempting to turn. Free kick against him. Who with the captain's armband, surging forward with authority, but then Delmar lost it, and Bergkamp hoped he'd freed Anelka. The flag has gone up, it was another tight one.
May actually be onside again.
Delmar lost it. Vieira gained it. Anelka is inside left channel. This is Nicholas Anelka. It should be all over.
Well, he's had a few chances tonight, Anelka. He's had a good service. Again, this was lovely. Vieira slides him in. This time I thought, well, he is going to hit the target, but he got a lot of power in it. But not accurate enough.
Well, Arsenal could have won this by now.
Oh, yeah, they could have had it well wrapped up.
3-4.
Yes, well wrapped up.
Dehu. Verel. Delmar.
You know, in a game like this, where they've had the chances and squandered them really in the second half, you know, you always get a chance. This team might just nick one at the end and you come away with a draw rather than a convincing win.
Hughes. Vieira. Lee Dixon. Parla's got away from Roll. It's Parla's cross. And it's a comfortable catch for Varmus.
Just a little bit too high for Bergkamp, but again, another great run down the right.
Adams away. Overmars still with great appetite and attitude. Winterburn. Vieira. Anelka, beg his pardon. Dixon. Bergkamp.
Bergkamp gave a shocking ball there to Parla.
Some believed that that man should have been with England in France over the summer.
Well, I'm one of them. It's definitely said he should have been there.
Roll, Delmar. De Bev. Another poor pass. Michael De Bev has had problems with his radar on the evening. A few have gone straight into touch. There's the man who could so easily have made it 1-1 with a thunderous free kick which hit the crossbar. Not so. Here's Bergkamp. An arm round his neck and a free kick because of it. Raelko taking man marking to an extreme. Bergkamp took it short. Vieira. And Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp's shot. Morera. Sikora. Mayako. Rolls making a run wide on the left. Parla spotted it. He has played well. And now Arsenal have 3-on-3, and Bergkamp's played it through, and Anelka's offside. The initial touch from Vieira wasn't as kind to Bergkamp as the Dutchman would have liked.
No, but the referee has given a foul for the just at the start of that move.
A reprieve for Arsenal. Vieira for Dennis Bergkamp. Nyelko with him as ever. Parler. Dixon. Bergkamp. Parler. Anelka waiting. Good tackle by Roll. Parler wants it back. Had plenty of Parler's shirt, did the fullback there.
Yeah, and spotted by the linesman. As you got up here, they had a grab at the shirt, didn't they?
I hardly argue with that.
There's a few minutes to go yet before they start doing that.
Bergkamp with the free kick. 2 in the wall. Deep one, Adams! Well, until tonight, the last Arsenal goal scorer in Europe's senior club competition was a centre-half. And that, you may remember him, was Colin Pates, who only played 20-odd games for Arsenal.
Well, that was
and
a good
scored
one.
the last goal that they got in the European Cup against Benfica. Arsenal lost on the night. But a great memory for him, I bet. Went on to Brighton, and out of the professional game to Crawley Town. Sikora. Smisa. Dalma. Again, it's Parler who's broken it up. Bergkamp, Vieira, he's free, Anelka's alongside. It's Nicolas Anelka, bags and bags of space. But he dwelt, and Sankhare closed him down. That was well defended by a young teenager who's learning the game and did well against Anelka, but you still feel that Arsenal perhaps
Well, he
should
should
be
have done, yes,
further ahead.
he should have done better, Peter. I mean, you don't want any better than that.
Adams, good ball.
Oh, nonchalant pass.
With the outside of his boot. He's getting a taste for it now, Tony Adams. This is Mark Overmars. And still Overmars, deflection, crossbar.
I thought the goalkeeper got a touch on that. Peter, you know, he come inside, again, lovely, hits it. I thought the goalkeeper got a touch. Certainly it was the defender. I knew there'd been a deflection.
Well, this should be a corner. It was a lovely moment.
Player number 10, Dennis Bergkamp, replaced by player number...
Change for Arsenal, Bergkamp's going off. He's getting there, he'll be back. He'll be back. It may be his last appearance away from home in Europe, certainly before Christmas. And he's just refining himself. Remy Gard is on, another Frenchman. Nyako, Dalma, Sikora,
Supplémentaire.
Smisa,
Extra time.
Dehu,
3 minutes.
Dalma, Dehu, and the booking, was it for Stephen Hughes?
I think.
Or was it Patrick Vieira?
Well, he's given it. Vieira's come up on the screen there, so obviously the our director feels it was Vieira. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was Vieira with a sliding tackle. Not an awful lot in that, was there?
But he's halfway to a suspension now in this competition. Moreira over the free kick. And nearer the camera, it's Sikora, who's already hit the crossbar from similar range. Eric Sikora. Oh, good save. Clawing away to his right, David Seaman.
From this angle, it looked as if it might have been going past the post, Peter, but I mean, the goalkeeper's not to know that. Let's have a look from here. Well, maybe.
He couldn't have let it go, could he?
No, of course not. No, he couldn't take the chance.
91.5 minutes on the clock. Moreira's corner! And Ferrell with the equaliser! And Arsenal are stung at the last! This is the golden boy of the French champions. And he's made Arsenal pay for the chances that they haven't taken.
Well, the ball whipped into the near post. Little flick on, and he compiling in there, just got a touch on it, knocked it past the keeper. But it was a bad goal to lose, right at the very end of the game.
Arsenal having done to them what they did at Leicester in the Premiership at the weekend. Delma. Adams away, Morera. Vieira gave but couldn't go because of the foul. Arsenal's free kick. Dixon in a hurry with it. Overmars coming to get it. Up in the air by Sikora. It was his free kick which won the corner from which Lawrence equalised. The game is over, and Arsenal must perceive this as points dropped. Late strike from Tony Vidal, and Daniel Leclerc's team have collected a point which, on the balance of play, they can't have anticipated. Terrific colour, terrific noise their supporters provide, and they feel terrific joy. Nicolas Anelka had chances. Tony Vidal had only one and took it. Mark Overmars had given Arsenal the lead early in the first half. They'd made themselves favourites to hang on to it, but they couldn't hang on to it. And the final score inside Le Stade Félix Bollaert is Lens 1, Arsenal 1.
Well, certainly quite an exciting night for English football, if a slightly disappointing one. We'll be back in a fortnight with the next extract from Europe's Premier Club contest, the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal are at Wembley, don't forget that, against Panathinaikos United in Germany to face Bayern Munich. Until then, good night to you all.
This programme was sponsored by Continental and PlayStation, UEFA Champions League sponsors.